Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another live episode of Let's Talk. I'm Arkham Rashid, your host. We all know that the sacred Muslim texts are all in Arabic, and it's the language of the Arabs. And if you look at Islamic scholarship throughout the years and decades and centuries, a lot of it has been done in Arabic. Not all, but a lot of it. So today we want to speak about some of the importance and benefits that a person can take from learning Arabic, or a person can gain from learning Arabic. So let's start off as usual by welcoming and introducing our guest for today. On my right hand side, brother, if you can give us your name, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself. Go ahead.
Sure. I'm Wael Waba. I was born in the US. I lived in New York for a while. Then I'm back here to Cairo, Egypt. I work as a financial consultant. I'm a CPA, and I'm honored to be on the show for the third time.
And it's an honor to have you on for the third time.
Thank you.
Last two times we enjoyed the conversation with you, and we're looking forward to another great
Appreciate
conversation,
it.
inshallah.
Thanks.
Brother next to him, if you can give us your name, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Yusuf Karma. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. A recent expat to Egypt, studying Lugat al-Arabiya and Quran, just trying to gain a better understanding of Islam. So I'm a writer, author, speaker, and aspiring student of knowledge.
And recently we heard that you've been given the Men of Honor Award in Philadelphia.
Alhamdulillah, yes. It's a blessing to be honored in your absence, so I'm grateful for the people in my hometown.
All right, mashallah, and it's an honor to have somebody that's a man of honor on our show. All right, inshallah, Yusuf, we're looking forward to this conversation. Likewise. As well, inshallah. If I can come over to this side, brother, if you can give us your name, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself, inshallah.
My name is Idris. I'm from Maryland in the States. And I'm here, the same as Yusuf, learning Arabic, memorizing Quran, and teaching English on the side. And hoping to benefit while my time being here.
Inshallah, and may Allah make it easy for you. Idris, we always have you on every single week. You're here sharing your wisdoms with us, and we appreciate that.
I'm just trying to follow in your footsteps. I enjoy being here.
And we enjoy having you on. Brother next to him, if you can give us your name, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself, inshallah.
Yes, my name is Salahuddin. I'm Jalil from Eritrea originally, but lived in England for the last 26 years.
Okay.
I came to Egypt to improve and enhance my Islamic understanding and Islamic knowledge. So I'm honored to be here.
And it's an honor to have you on, Salahuddin. This is the first time you're joining us for Let's Talk. That's here. Right, yeah. So I'm looking forward to this conversation, inshallah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So let's start this conversation with a basic and very simple question. Your thoughts on the importance of Arabic. Does the Arabic language have benefits for Muslims? And why would you say it's important for a Muslim to study the Arabic language? Wael, if we can start with you.
Sure. Actually, among the current living languages spoken worldwide nowadays, Arabic is considered, according to the research and different manuscripts found, Arabic is considered the oldest language which has not been changed, or what they call artificially constructed. This is the first thing. Of course, the revelation of the Quran over 1400 years back did contribute a lot to the preserving the Arabic language.
Yeah, of course.
The Arabic language is known as the language of the letter Dot. This is something very unique and special about the Arabic language. I mean, the Arabs till the time of the Islam, and even right after the revelation for a while, they didn't realize that it's called the language of the letter Dot. They actually came up with this I would say name letter Dot based on so many I would say non-Arab Muslims who got into Islam. They were keen to learn Arabic. And they always had a challenge with pronouncing this letter Dot. The Arabs find out that this letter is only in the Arabic language, and any non-Arab have a challenge like pronouncing it. And so that's why the scholars back then call it since this letter is very unique in the Arabic language. At that time, there was like famous scholars specialized in the Arabic language, like the Al-Asami and the Al-Asami, and Al-Khalil and Sibawayh. Sibawayh went to the extent to say that whoever cannot pronounce the letter Dot cannot read the Arabic poetry or the Quran he went to this extent. He cannot read it properly. Can I add something else?
Yeah, of course,
something else about the Arabic, the Arabic language is very unique as far as the richness of the vocabulary.
Yeah.
So if we look to the number of the root words in the Arabic language, in the Latin language, it's around 700. In the Hebrew, it's around 2,500, while the Arabic language is 16,000, around 16,000. So this is a big difference. This gives the language a lot of richness. The Arabic alphabet, around 28, while the Latin language and the English language is only 26. The Hebrew is only 19. Okay.
Yeah, continue.
Something also unique about the Arabic language. Actually, it's a very rich topic, so I don't want to take so much time. I will leave it at this point. The Arabic language, one of the good things about it that like a certain word or a certain, for instance, if we take the animal, the lion.
Yeah.
The lion in the Arabic language has different 10 names. So this adds up to the richness of the language.
I mean, I remember just this word lion as well.
Sure.
We were speaking about it earlier, me and my friends, and we were discussing that there are so many specific words for specific lions.
Right.
So if a lion limps on its left leg,
Right.
it has a certain word.
So
If a lion limps on its right leg, it has a certain word. So a specific word for a lion will tell you exactly the description of that lion. If it's a reddish lion, there's a specific word. If it's a reddish camel, there's a specific word. So there's so many, the vocabulary in the Arabic language, we can say it's vast. And the specific words that are there automatically tell a person what type of animal, what's the description of the animal
Right.
that you guys are discussing. Yusuf, I want to come to you. I want to ask you the same question, your thoughts on the importance of Arabic language. I want to start off by asking you though, can you pronounce the letter Dad?
Bod.
Okay, he's getting there.
He is a poet.
Mashallah.
Taken away from his,
I'm in a Qaida Nuraniya class right now. My teacher, he's like a hardcore Arabic teacher.
Yeah.
So we spend like half an hour on how to pronounce ta. So it's like, it's interesting, inshallah. So I'm working on the dot, inshallah.
Okay.
I'm not Sibawayh yet, but I'm working.
One day you'll be,
inshallah. But alhamdulillah, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, as we said, Al-Hakim and Al-Alim. He's the most wise and he's the one that knows everything. So his knowledge is all encompassing and is absolute and is infinite. So for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to know what was, what is, what will be, and what could have been, to know all these alternatives, worlds, and for him to choose this particular language as a way, as a method of communicating with his servants in, it shows the superiority of the Arabic language and it honors that particular language. And we know, we judge a teacher according to the amount of knowledge the teacher knows. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best teacher because he's the one that knows everything. There's no teacher that knows everything. So as he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا, that he taught Adam the names of things. So there's a particular merit in being taught by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because that knowledge of those things is what gave Adam superiority over the angels in that particular regard, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught him. And the angel said, لَا عِلْمَ لَنَا إِلَّا مَا عَلَمْتَنَا. So we don't have any knowledge except that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us. So if Allah chooses to teach us in his Arabic language, chooses to communicate with us in his language, then we choose that because we don't have any knowledge except that which Allah gives us. And that's what gives us honor, and that's what gives us izzah if we learn and we speak and we communicate in this particular language, and it gives us a particular depth that would give us a degree over other people that speak other languages. Just by learning the language of the Quran, we'll have a degree over other nations.
That's deep. That's a very interesting way of looking at it, mashallah. Before we continue this conversation, we're going to watch a short video clip, and as soon as we come back, we will continue with the very simple question of why do you think Arabic is important? So stay tuned.
The subject of da'wah is to know that this word da'wah comes from the root da'a. Not much to it, is it? It's got a hiccup. That's it. So this is also dua. Dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To call Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Rabb, Ya Latif. This is dua. And when you call the people, this is da'wah, same. Da'wah, calling. calling to La ilaha illallah. Throughout the Quran, when Allah talks about anything from this same root, it can mean call. We say invite. It's not wrong, but when you try to use it with, how do you invite Allah? That doesn't make any sense. Translation, in this case, tarjuma is mushkil, is a problem for us. So it's better to know the Arabic language. So because I said that, now I'm going to ask, here in the masjid, here tonight, how many, kam wahid, you know Lughat Arabiya? How many know Arabic language? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okie dokie. So I'll stay with English. Alhamdulillah. It's very important, my dear respected brothers in Islam, to know the Arabic language. It is not an option. If you bought a new computer and you found it has a new computer language and you need it to do high-speed graphics, you need it to be able to communicate on the internet with everybody else, how long will it take you to learn the language? You'll start immediately. You won't even read the book, you just start trying right away because you want to. The only reason you don't have Arabic language is because you don't want to. It's the only reason. If you make it your priority, if you understand how critical and important it is, especially more than ever today, to know the Arabiya, you will not even go to sleep tonight before you start learning. I will tell you a website. Now I'm going to ask this. How many of you have access to the internet? A lot more than know the Arabic language. So you go to this internet and you type in the browser bar Arabic in English.com. Arabic in English.com. You can begin immediately learning the Arabic language, understanding it, and having fun with it, and you'll be able to look through the Quran, and when you see words, you'll understand this is a word, it's not just some letters. This means something, this means something. It will begin your introduction. After you get started, then you need a teacher. We have some teachers online, especially for the sisters. We have teachers in our chat room, so you need to make the note of this one too. chatislam.com. chatislam.com. We have teachers and scholars from around the world who help us every day, especially on the weekends, to learn more about Islam, Sirah, Fiqh, Tajweed, Quran, the meaning of Quran, the tafsir. Many things are there for you. You want to ask questions, we have ulama coming online. Some of them are very famous, some are not. Dr. Bilal Phillips, Yasser Qadi, Yusuf Jafar, Sheikh Jafar Idris's son. We have also Mutahir Sabri, Muhammad Sayyid Adli from Egypt. We have so many of them, all English. Even if they know Arabic, their programs have to be in English. I don't allow them to do it in any other language because it ties in with our other websites. So if you would really like to learn and understand Islam, you need Arabic. I'll come back to the subject of da'wah. By the way, part of calling to Islam is also called to the Arabic because you don't understand Islam in other languages. You will just have like a bad, you know, if you look through a glass and the glass is dirty, or if the glass is not made right and it's warped and you go up and down and you go fat and small like this is like trying to read the Quran through another language. You can't really get the right perspective. And you always have to ask, what does it mean? What does it mean? So it's important to have good teachers.
I hope you guys enjoyed that short video clip by Yusuf Estes. Now, one thing that he did mention in there is that if you want to understand your religion and you want to understand Islam, you need the Arabic language. You need at least some of it. So we'll continue this question about the importance of the Arabic language. Idris, if you want to start off, inshallah.
For me, I'm going to keep mine pretty short and simple. They've already covered most of everything. But I think it's definitely something that's of inherent importance. It's very, very. I know we're going to go into more details, but it's very important that you learn at least a minimum. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's mandatory, even though some scholars in the past have said that. But personally, I don't think it's mandatory, because that would be making a lot to be an oppressor. If you don't learn a language, you won't have a deen. But I think it's still to make yourself understand, and for those who want to get closer to their Lord, learn the language. It's not that hard to the point where Allah will make it easy for you to get what you need. And when we say learn the language, you don't mean learn the language of the Egyptians. Yeah. Learn the language of the Jordanians or the Saudis or the Moroccans. Learn the Arabic of the Quran, which is not spoken on the streets. Mm-hmm. So we're not calling you to learn the language of a culture. Mm-hmm. Some people think of it as Arabic as a culture. Mm-hmm. We're asking you to learn the language of the Quran because that's what will benefit you. Yeah, this is the things that you want to do. Have a reason why you want to do it. Learning the language keeps you from being tricked. Mm-hmm. So there's many reasons, but I think it's massively important. If you're sincere and you want to be close to your Lord, this is what you would do. Mm-hmm. Those who don't care, then your actions will show it.
Mm. And I really like the point that you mentioned, that we don't want to say it's obligatory for people to learn Arabic, because that would just make their lives extremely hard. And I mean, I understood what you said, but just to clarify to the viewers, this is in terms of understanding the language and learning the language in terms of speaking it, not in terms of, for example, reciting Surah Al-Fatiha and Salah, because some basics of the language are required from you, which is certain chapters that are revealed in Arabic. You have to memorize those in Arabic. But like I said, I understood exactly what you said, and I just wanted to clarify that for some of the viewers. Salahuddin, I'm going to come to you, but before I ask you the same exact question, I want to remind the viewers that this is a live show and that you can call anytime and join our conversation. Also, if you're not able to call, know that we have our Facebook open here, so you can go on to Let's Talk's Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/Let's Talk Official, and send us a message and we will answer it live on air, inshallah. So Salahuddin, just the same kind of question, why do you think it's important for somebody to learn the Arabic language?
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Arabic language. Arabic language, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, before that, I would like to say that Arabic language is the most eloquent, important, profound and explicit language. Mm-hmm. No wonder Allah Jalla fi'ula chose the Arabic language to be the final and eternal revelation to mankind and jinn. Mm-hmm. Furthermore, Arabic language is so profound and deep that it was descended from above the seven heavens, and this pure, pristine, miraculous language. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Yusuf, إِنَّا نَحْنُ أَنزَلْنَاهُ قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ. We have sent it as an Arabic Quran in order that you may understand. This verse implies that there is something unique and special characteristics of the Arabic language in comparison to any other language. So there's a divine wisdom behind this language.
Yeah, that's a very good point that you bring there, and you connected it with that verse, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wouldn't have told us that He's revealed this in Arabic for you to understand. If you knew that, okay, a lot of people don't speak Arabic. I mean, like Wa'il was saying before the show, that 80% of Muslims are non-Arabs. So why did God say that He has revealed it in Arabic so that you may understand? And I mean, that kind of leads me to my next question that I wanted to ask you guys, which is, why do you think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose the Arabic language over all languages to reveal the Quran in? Wa'il, if we can start with you.
Sure. Actually, like going back to the richness of the Arabic vocabulary, like you just said, like the way the line has more than almost 10 different names in the Arabic language. Having said that, Al-Imam Ibn Taymiyyah, may Allah be pleased with him, said that there is no two Arabic words having the same meaning. They share an exact meaning. So some way or another, if they are equal in meaning, they have to, every one of these words has to have some additional meaning. Something unique also about the Arabic language is the parsing. The parsing within the other languages like the Hindi or the English, it's partial parsing. Within Arabic, it's full parsing. What does this mean? For instance, if we are talking about a word in Arabic of 3 letters like alima, it's ain and lam and mim. So if we look at the equivalent in English, so, you know, for example's sake, it's ALM. Okay? Alima, the way you read it within the sentence, it can be read with 7 different ways. This will give you 7 different meanings. So this enrich the language. Something also unique about the Arabic language is the calligraphy. How is the handwriting of the Arabic language, and we can see it like at ancient mosques, ancient Islamic structures everywhere in the world. So the Arabic letter is very flexible. It gives you so many styles. It's like some of them are well known, like the Kufic style, the Maghrebian style. It gives you the shape of art. So something unique about the Arabic language that you can easily construct a full, precise sentence within a short statement. So Allah, for all of these reasons and other reasons, I think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had chosen the Arabic language, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did refer to this in the Quran in Surah Az-Zumar, chapter 23, verse 28. I want to quote, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Allah said, قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا غَيْرَ ذِي عِوَجٍ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَّقُونَ, meaning in English, an Arabic Quran in Arabic, without any crookedness, without any impropriety, in order that they may avoid all evil, which Allah has ordered them to avoid. Fear Him and keep their duty to Him.
And I just want to repeat something that you said, which is very important, I think, for the viewers. There are not 2 words in Arabic, except that they slightly differ in meaning. And many times you see people say, okay, what does this word mean? And then they give you another Arabic word, as if the 2 mean exactly the same. Some cases you can use them, you know, you can use them as the same meaning, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the meanings of the exact words
are exactly identical.
Exactly.
Right.
Sometimes something might indicate something during the night, something during the morning. I mean, there's minor differences that when you learn the language in depth, you can find within those words. Yusuf, I want to ask you the same questions before we go to the break. Why do you think God revealed His last book in Arabic?
SubhanAllah, I believe because of His death. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Like, this is a book in which there is no doubt. So one of the things that will allow someone or individual to have no doubt about something, it's how clear the message is articulated and its depth. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains things in a way that there is no doubt. There's not a question that needs to be asked after the things are explained. And within Arabic, for example, the term nas or insane, I was always, you know, curious as why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called us nas or insane. You know, it translates in English as mankind. So there was a non-Arabic speaker who told me, you know, well, I don't know why Allah called us insane, but the closest thing I know to insane is insane. So human beings are insane. So that's why it's insane. You know, it didn't sit well with me. You know, like
right.
So you know, so I asked one of my teachers, and he told me the word nas comes from the Arabic word nasa, which means to forget. So because human beings are so forgetful, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called us insan or nas because we're always forgetting. No matter how much barakah Allah gives us, no matter how much mercy, no matter His blessings, His bounty, we always will forget. Immediately, we forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's our innate human characteristic. So the Quran is what? A dhikr, to remind us of our purpose, to remind us of the bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And look how this one single word will tell you everything about your characteristics, everything about your creation, everything that you need to know of the worst characteristics of a human being is that what? You're forgetful. SubhanAllah. This one word. So imagine that in comparison to the entire Quran that explains the human condition.
Wow. And I mean, even the verse that you mentioned, which is the second verse of Surah Al-Baqarah, the way it's read, there are two ways you can read it. And that shows the beauty of the Arabic language as well. I have it open here, so I have ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبٍ. You can pause there,
Right.
and then you can say فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Or you can recite ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Now, what does that change? That slightly changes what the dhamir goes back to. So if we have ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبٍ, that is the book of no doubt.
Right.
And then pause. فِيهِ, in it.
Right.
It's a guide.
هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Guidance for the believers. Right? Or we can pause at ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ, meaning that ha is going back to the kitab.
Right.
So that is the book of that has no doubt in it. And then هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ separately. A guidance for the believers. Sure.
SubhanAllah, just going to add something quick before the break. You know, a brother in Virginia, he was non-Muslim, and he was listening to the Quran and the translation for the Quran. And then he was listening at the very beginning of the Quran, Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. So he stopped everybody, I want to be a Muslim. So everybody's wondering, how come with this dark image about the Islam everywhere in the States, so you need to know more about Islam. He said, I read so many books, and every book can be updated, can be changed, altered. Some books has disclaimers. For somebody to say in the beginning of the book, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ, meaning that this a great level of assurance that this is not from a human being who wrote this book. And this was a good evidence for him right there in the very beginning of the Quran. It's these words are coming from God, not from a human being. And he accepted Islam right away. MashaAllah.
I mean, and these are the things that are lost in translation.
Right.
So now, before we continue this conversation, we're going to go for a short break. As soon as we come back, we will continue with the reasons why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed His book in Arabic. So stay tuned. Back to Let's Talk. Now, before we went for that short break, we were speaking about why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed His last book in the Arabic language. So we're going to go over to Idris. The brothers on this side of the panel gave some insight to why, or what are some of the benefits of the Arabic language and why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would reveal His last book in Arabic. Idris, what are your thoughts on this?
They've covered so many things, and this is a vast topic, but I'm going to keep it simple for my own personal reasons of why I think one of the two important reasons that this Quran was revealed in Arabic and the final revelation was, if you think in history, I don't know any history of any people that were so focused on language like the Arabs were during Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Watch somebody, cut that part out. I don't know any history. That's it.
Hopefully they don't sound like that. I don't know a history of any people that focused on language. I mean, it was the medium for them. It was everything for them. It was their honor.
Yeah.
It was like they lived and breathed language. It was like a huge thing for them. The way that, kids in America love sneakers. They go crazy over it. For them, it was everything.
But sneakers are everything.
For some people, they may think that. but for them, it was massively important. More important than I can think of any civilization before them or after them.
Right.
It was the thing that that signified them. There wasn't anything else. You can't think of anything else that before Islam that was like, okay, the Arabs stood out. Nothing stood out from them except this language.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is why they used to have the big poetry contest, and it was a huge thing. If you said a poem about someone who's bad, you may lose your life. They took it serious. It wasn't a joke for them. It was a language. So it only made sense that Rasulullah ﷺ, who came from these people, this would be the medium and this would be the tool that he used, because people who know the language immediately know this is not from a man. The people who know the language, when you start learning this language, it's impossible. There's no doubt that when you know it, it hits you, and it's impossible to know that this is not from a man.
Yeah, and that's why God challenges in His book that if you think that this is man-made or that the Prophet was a poet that said this poetry, then bring something that's like it.
Right.
He challenged it, and we don't understand this challenge because we're like, okay, what is it talking about? How hard could it be to write up a couple of lines? But for people that are obsessed with poetry and know the depths of poetry, I mean, Yusuf can understand this a lot better than us. We'll understand that some poetry is just wow.
Yeah.
And then some things are not even poetry. Like the Quran is just so amazing
it's the thing about Arabic is that the Quran had came in a fashion and form that the poets knew it wasn't poetry.
Yes.
And the people who dealt with other language knew that it wasn't normal Arabic.
Exactly.
So everyone came to the agreement that, you know what, this is on its own. It's not poetry. It's not some statement, regular statement, or some wonderful things that are being said. It's on its own class, its own category. It stood out, and nobody could imitate it. So I think that this is the reason why, one of the main reasons why the Quran was revealed in Arabic, and also because the language is long-lasting. Because they were so serious about language, like, the things that last from civilizations, for instance, other civilizations, the Romans, whatever came from them, what was strong for them, we still have. Their pillars and their architecture, this was strong for them, and we still have it today. So the things that lasted from cultures, the thing that lasted from the Arabs was the language. So the Quran was bound to be one of the things that lasted from the people because it was that important to them.
SubhanAllah.
Salahuddin, I want to ask you, what's your thoughts on this, and then we'll get into some of the reasons why Arabic or knowing Arabic would increase a person's devotion. But before I do that, Salahuddin, I want to know some of your thoughts on why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would reveal His book in Arabic.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is able to do all things. The question why cannot refer to Allah, because He said in Surah Al-Anbiya, لا يسأل عما يفعل وهم يسألون. He is not questioned regarding what He does, but they will. This is from a side point of view. But yes, you're right. We understand the point is that, say, why an Arabic, of all other languages in the world, Arabic has some precious and in-depth and rich and eternal beauty in it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the all-wise, the all-known, chosen the Arabic language from what we know, from our limited, finite understanding of the Quran, is it has some miraculous touch to it. However great a translator or an interpreter might be, he can only capture some of the true meaning of the Quran, but he cannot capture the beauty of the Quran whatsoever. It's something beyond. Allah's words, the distance between Allah's words and human words are like that of the heavens and the earth. It's something beyond. Now, we can only grasp what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened up for us. So Arabic is there's some mysterious and in-depth and richness in it. Wallahu a'lam.
That's very good. The very good answer, and without a doubt, even sometimes when we don't understand why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does something, just know that there is wisdom in it. Now, I want to speak about just personal devotion of each and every worshipper. Do you guys think that it will increase by this person learning the Arabic language? So let's say a person just knows how to recite the Fatiha and a few surahs and he prays his prayers. And on the other hand, you have another individual who knows what he's saying. Do you think that will increase it? Now, before I do ask you guys this question, keep in mind that 20% of the Muslims are Arabs. Does that mean these 20% have a stronger devotion to God because of understanding the Arabic language than the 80%? So I want to know how these two balance out. Well, if we can start with
Okay, I wanted to comment on Brother Saleh, but anyway, I will answer the question firstly. I look to it as grades. So the first grade, if I'm not reading the Quran at all, and then I start reading the Quran, So definitely I'm gaining a thawab or a reward. Now if I go up one grade and start reading the Quran while contemplating and while thinking, so I went up more in the edge and I went up more in the understanding. And then further up more grade if I start reading the Quran regularly, thinking, contemplating, and then acting upon what I am actually reading or reciting. And this is, I would say, the highest status which hopefully we all as Muslims attain. And back to what you were saying, I think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had, sent every prophet or every messenger, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers in the chapter 14, verse number 4 from Surah Ibrahim, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِلَّا بِلِسَانِ قَوْمِهِ, meaning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends the prophet or the messenger with the same language of his people to make things easy and comfortable. This is the first thing. And the other thing, he sends the messenger with the set of miracles which actually addresses the area of mastering or the area of expertise which this nation have. So for instance, if we look to Moses, peace be upon him, he was sent to the people of Egypt. They were very famous in magic. He was able to defeat the magicians. He was able to apart the sea, and he was able to get his hand white and brightly shining. Jesus, peace be upon him, his people was very advanced in medicine. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent him with the ability to cure the blind and the leper, with the ability by the permission of Allah to resurrect the death, and to create the birds by the permission of Allah. Reflecting this on the Arabs and on Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like Brother Idris was just saying, the Arabs took a lot of pride in their language. Literally, most of the Arab were illiterate. So the only way for them to record their, I would say, major historical events was through poetry, was through parables and metaphoric statements. So they had this, like you just said, this tournament or contests, which is called a marketplace for poetry. It's called Ukaz, and they always had this well-known eloquency. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose the Arabic language as a mean of a challenge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did refer, like Brother Arqam said, did refer to this challenge in so many places in the Quran. And if at the time of the Prophet alayhi salam, all the way till now, if anybody was capable of meeting this challenge, this would have destroyed the whole message. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala referred to, I would say, to taking the message. If the people of Quraysh or the Arabs in general can't take the message, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in chapter 2 verse 23, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَإِن كُنتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِّمَّا نَزَّلْنَا عَلَىٰ عَبْدِنَا فَأْتُوا بِسُورَةٍ مِّن مِّثْلِهِ وَادْعُوا شُهَدَاءَكُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. Sadaqallah al-Azim. Allah is addressing the Arab, the pagans, the Christians, the Jews, if they are capable of first of all, if they have doubt in what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed or sent down, meaning the Quran, on his slave, meaning Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, so they can go ahead and get a surah or a chapter similar to the Quran. Even if they can do it on their own, they can go and seek their helpers or supporters, but they will fail to, because they are not truthful.
Very interesting. I mean, we know that before Islam came, the Arabs used to hang poetry on the Kaaba, on what they knew as the house of God as well, because it was poetry to them had such a high place in society. Yusuf, I want to ask you the same question I asked Wa'il, which was about devotion. Do you think knowing Arabic increases a person's devotion?
Absolutely, and I want to provide an example of, just from a social science.
Sure.
So there's a man, he sees a woman, right?
Yeah.
The story always starts like this, right? And she's a very beautiful woman. He falls in love with this woman. And he wants to communicate with her, but he finds out that she doesn't speak his language.
Okay.
So what does he do? He goes home, he buys books.
And start learning.
Starts learning this language for dummies. He scours Google. He learns all the terminologies. Within 3 days, he's almost fluent in the language. Right? 3 days is all it takes, right?
Mashallah.
Why? Because the lover wants to know his beloved. He wants to be able to communicate with his beloved. He wants to be able to understand his beloved. So he goes to any extremities, any trials, any tribulations to learn the language of his beloved, because that's who he loves, and he wants to make his beloved pleased with him. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our beloved. The Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is our beloved. So we will do anything it takes to learn the language of our beloved, to learn to communicate with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we love him. So if you truly love someone, you want to understand what they're saying. You want to understand the message that they left for you. You want to be able to communicate in a way that they communicated, because that's your beloved. So as Muslims, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke in this language, there needs to be no other reason than this. Because he left a message for us in that language, so we will go through any extremity, any circumstance, any trials, any tribulations, any difficulty to learn the language of the one who we love most.
That's a wonderful example. Wonderful example. Is that why you have that Spanish for Dummies book?
Actually, he's here learning Arabic, so I guess.
But seriously, on a serious note, that was a wonderful example. You know, very well described. Idris, I want to ask you the same thing, but know that we only have about a minute left, so maybe I can get 30 seconds on it.
I'll just say, I'll play the opposite side, is that know for sure that Arabic is the utmost important to learn. But I don't want to make it seem as though we're on the show saying that, you know, the people who don't know Arabic are better, you know, worshippers. Than, are less worshippers than the ones that do, you know, that do know Arabic. Because you may find that people, maybe half of the Quran, they memorize so many hadith, and you find a person who doesn't know Arabic, this person may be beloved to Allah more than the person who knows Arabic. So it isn't necessarily that, you know, knowing Arabic will make you closer to Allah only. Our job is to call that to that which is good. So understand that. So, but I don't want the public to think that if you don't know it, no, I'm trash.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work that way. You know, you can still build your relationship with Allah, but you need these tools to help you along the way. You don't, you know, do certain things without certain tools. It will help you, but it isn't the mean to end all. So I'll leave it at that since we don't have a lot of time.
Okay, and Yuslahaddin, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, learning Arabic will gradually enhance, improve, and flourish your relationship with the Quran, thus with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
MashaAllah.
So it's extremely important. Consensus view of scholars is that Quran and Sunnah should be taught in Arabic because it has a great impact in the individual in regards to his relationship with the Creator. It's a blessing to have the Quran understood without any intermediaries. The words of Allah to understand it firsthand. Wallah, it's a blessing where there is no blessing behind.
It truly is, it truly is. Dear viewers, I want to leave you guys with one last thing that's very important. Just remember that Arabic is a tool to increase your devotion, not necessarily something that will automatically increase your devotion. That's why you find many people who speak Arabic and you see that their devotion doesn't have to be, or it doesn't necessarily mean that their devotion is more than somebody who doesn't speak Arabic. Because Arabic is just a tool, it's how you use the tool. Now if you don't even have the tool, then you're not able to use that tool. So remember, let's try our best, even if we can pick up words, or let's select certain surahs from the Quran, like Surah Al-Fatiha, which you recite at least 5 times a day, and you know, at least 2 times in each prayer, so at least 10 times a day, every single day. And let's start learning those words that are in Surah Al-Fatiha, and from there take it little by little, step by step, until you grasp some of the meanings of some of the short surahs that you recite in your prayers. It will inshallah increase your devotion if used correctly. And with that being said, I want to thank all of you guys for joining me here on our panel. So once again, thank you guys, wonderful conversation. I'm looking forward inshallah to seeing you guys more often on Let's Talk. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. Until next time, may God bless us all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.